On February 22nd, 2026, Team USA didn't just win a gold medal in men's hockey. They went out and reminded a whole damn country, including this creaky old fart, that hockey miracles don't retire at 46. They just wait around for overtime. 46 years ago to the day, I was 19, a scrawny college freshman with hair and dreams, crammed into a dorm TV room watching those Lake Placid kids pull off the miracle on ice. We beat the Soviets, those big, bad, unbeatable commie machines. And I swear the whole campus down in Athens lost its mind. We were screaming, hugging strangers, spilling beer everywhere. Well, like most Friday nights in Athens. Al Michaels yelling, "Do you believe in miracles?" Yes! I believed so hard I almost passed out. Those college boys taught us underdogs could bite giants in the ankles and win. Fast forward today. I'm 64, my back screaming louder than the crowd at Milano. My knees sound like Rice Krispies when I stand up. And the only thing I lace up these days is my damn boots on snow days. But on that same February 22nd, I was parked in my recliner, yelling at the TV like I'm still 19, watching these boys, well, grown men actually with NHL paychecks and actual teeth, well, most of them, take on Canada, hockey's Mount Everest, the team that's supposed to win every time they breathe near a puck. And they did it again. 2-1 in overtime. Jack Hughes. Kid loses front teeth to a Canadian stick like it's just a Tuesday. Skates back out, gap-toothed, bleeding, and grinning like a jack-o'-lantern. And then he buries the golden goal in overtime. I almost choked on my whiskey. Coffee. Back in 1980, we had college kids shocking the world. In 2026, we got millionaires missing teeth and still saying, "Hold my damn beer." Progress, I guess. Now, the old miracle back in 1980 was pure underdog magic. No pros, no expectations, just heart and a prayer. This one, these boys had pressure stacked like cordwood. Legacy, history, the whole finish what your grandpa started thing. Canada was throwing everything but the kitchen sink. 41 shots on Connor Hellebuck, who stood on his head like a human brick wall. Every hit felt like it carried 46 years of not this time, eh? But our guys didn't blink. They blocked shots, bled a little, trusted the next guy, and said, "Quit ain't in the American playbook." I sat there thinking, back then we believed because we had nothing to lose. Now they believe because they know what winning feels like, and also what losing to Canada tastes like. Mostly regret and maple syrup. Different teams, different era, same damn fire. One was a miracle against impossible odds. This was a statement. Greatness isn't a fluke. It's a habit we refuse to break. So yeah, on February 22nd, 2026, they connected my pimply 19-year-old self to this old coot in Ohio who can barely get out of his chair without groaning. They turned a memory into a moment, proved the USA can still lace them up and make the world shut up and watch. Gold isn't given in these games. It's earned in the corners with tired legs, blocked shots, and yes, sometimes with a couple fewer teeth. These guys earned it, and hell, they even honored Johnny Gaudreau up there. They brought his kids out on the ice. Yeah, made an old man tear up a little, but don't tell everybody. 46 years later, the message still rings true. Louder than my tinnitus. Believe. Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to go ice my knees and find out where I put that old Miracle on Ice VHS tape. These kids just gave me an excuse to watch it again. And with that, let's start the damn show. Well, greetings and salutations and welcome once again to the Newsman Weekly Podcast, episode number 86. Good morning, gentlemen. That was a hell of a weekend.
USA.
Women beat Canada in the gold medal hockey game Thursday. I tried and failed to stay sober Friday evening during the men's semifinal win. I woke up Sunday morning and lost my voice screaming for the USA men's team. My voice has gone to hell, quite honestly. And speaking of hell, how the hell was your weekend? And Jack Slamenda, what in the hell are you doing in here?
Wow, what's going on? I'm just here to share some patriotic pride, I suppose, because I absolutely loved that game. And I got to tell you, I think this is my generation's miracle, to be honest with you.
Well, you're wearing a Ford hat, which concerns me greatly, but that's neither here nor there. We don't do advertising like for auto dealers on this show, but, you do what you got to do.
We might have to blur it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's okay.
Well,
That can be
I mean,
done. That can be handled.
That's okay.
So we know that Slaminda was drunk all weekend. Heiser, Hayden, what about you guys?
Some portion of the weekend, I went to that Ren show on Saturday night.
Yes, your lovely wife posted
I
more
know.
photos.
Didn't we look
We always
great?
know where
Didn't
you're
we
at.
look great?
At least you
Know
didn't have a tux on.
Yeah, no tux.
No tux this time.
Yeah.
But so I was a little, I woke up at 8 and I was ready to go, but didn't really get up to pregame or anything. But I did watch the hockey game on Sunday morning. It was incredible.
Well, you and I did. I know Slaminda did because we had a lot of stuff going back and forth on Slack. Hayden, all of a sudden, 10:34 a.m., he sends me a work message.
Middle of the second period.
Yeah. I'm like, dude.
Related to this show so that we can make sure we're doing what we're doing right now.
In fact, you know what? I looked at it and I said to my wife, the hell is he doing sending me a work message?
And it was 1-1 at this point.
Oh, yeah.
So
That's
it
what I
was,
was going to say.
it was
It's when everything
tense.
was going to hell. Yeah.
And,
As if I don't know that.
And my wife goes, he what? I said, yeah, he's sending me work messages. She was not pleased with you.
Did Marcy watch the game with
She
you?
watched a hockey game.
My wife even sat down and watched some of the third period too.
At some point, she yelled out, get it out of there, when the U.S. was playing.
My girlfriend woke up late and jumped in on the third period, but she got to see the win and the overtime win.
Sure.
There, so.
Yeah.
Sure.
No, it was absolutely amazing. The U.S. men had not defeated Canada in a best-on-best competition since the 1996 World Cup of Hockey, before many players on this current roster were born. It was revenge after losing to Canada in last year's Four Nations title game when we got beat 3-2 in overtime, when that Connor McOverrated scored the winning goal. It was a clean sweep for USA Hockey for the first time. The women beat Canada 2-1 in overtime for a gold on Thursday. The nice thing was, if you're a Columbus Blue Jackets fan, Jack Hughes' game-winning goal, less than 2 minutes into overtime against Canada, was assisted by Zach Werenski.
Yep.
Make sure I pronounce it right because I'm not a Blue Jacket fan. Of our own Columbus Blue Jackets, who wrestled the puck away from Canada's overrated Nathan McKinnon, who I don't know what McKinnon was doing. He's just flailing away. He sent a cross-ice feed to an open Hughes, and bang, it was a winner.
Just like that.
The golden goal.
Yeah,
The golden goal.
and sudden death. I know 3-on-3, like which Canada complained about, but
Sorry,
we
Canada.
said before we
Dims
don't,
the rules.
3-on-3 kind of sucks for overtime, but man, that sudden death is intense in a gold medal game, any game leading up to it. And there were several good, really great hockey games. Didn't we go to overtime against?
We went to
Sweden
as well?
on
Yeah.
Thursday.
And the women's beat Canada
In
in
overtime.
overtime to win
Yeah.
the gold. Yeah.
Thanks for listening to what I was saying earlier, Jack.
I was listening. I was
believe
just
Bring him
I
on the
mentioned
show
that
and
5 minutes ago.
Doesn't even listen to the host.
Actively defending my ability to do this show.
And 1980 was a long time ago. You
It
were
was.
how old? 19. you
19
said?
years
Wow.
old.
Wow, I can even picture it, Zach. I can't even picture
But that's what's so cool about this to me. Like,
What, that I'm old?
no. Like, as I was listening to that open and whatnot, I think it's so fascinating that, like, sure, I'm 22, and so it's obviously it's not exactly the same. You were 19, but it's that same age range of, like, that's when it happened. So that's why, I don't know, I kind of didn't really get the opportunity to share this with you over Slack, but that's why it's been so fun to go back and forth with you on Slack about this whole Olympics, because it, like, I am the same age as you were when we won the last time, and it's just been fun to, like, go back and forth and, like, share the two different generations of hockey and, like, kind of seeing each other's shoes. You know what I mean?
Well, we didn't communicate a lot on Slack in 1980.
No.
Al Gore had not yet invented the internet,
Right.
so we weren't allowed to do that.
problematic.
I told this last week. I love people who say that they watched live when the USA beat the Soviet Union because they're full of crap.
It was
Yeah.
It was taped delay.
Yeah.
I mean, we were outside throwing a football or throwing a frisbee outside Washington Hall down in Athens, and a friend of mine named Ozzy, who was a huge USA hockey fan. Well, I mean, we liked hockey at the time, but, you know, we had followed a little bit, but he was a huge Mike Ruzioni fan because Mike Ruzioni, he was from Toledo, and Mike Ruzioni had played for the Toledo Gold Diggers, AAA kind of minor league hockey. He'd never played in the NHL, so he was still eligible to be on Team USA. But Ozzy came screaming down the dorm steps, screaming, "We beat the Russians, we beat the Russians, we bleat the expletive deleted Russians." We turned around, immediately headed uptown, bought massive amounts of beer, went back, sat in a dorm TV lounge about as big as this podcast center, probably 45 guys, massive amounts of beer, and we watched the game on tape replay.
And you already
that
knew
night.
the result.
We knew we won.
Yeah.
But it was so wild because during the game,
You're like, maybe it could have been wrong.
We all kept looking at Ozzy going, "Dude, did you mess this up?"
How? Like,
That would have been.
maybe I missed that, but how did he know that you guys had won?
Somebody
secret
watching the
sources.
game called him, some Aruzioni connection. I mean, we didn't know.
That's why. So somebody that
Somebody-
your friend
Intel.
knew
Some
somebody
intel.
that was
I
watching
mean,
it live.
The game was played in Lake Placid.
Right,
Okay,
right.
so it's not that far away. Same time zone. Somebody at the game, somehow
Messenger
connected.
pigeon.
Wow.
It was like, I don't know.
How is there not a broadcast? It was in
That's
the United
that's
States
a
and
really long story, but I think you
Go ahead and tell it, Jack.
okay. Well, so they wanted to do it live, but what was ABC's president, right? Or,
Yes, Rune Arledge.
Yeah. They wanted to do it live, but there was all this conflict with the U.S. had already agreed that they were going to boycott the next Olympics because of
Jimmy Carter.
Yeah, Jimmy Carter and
Russians invaded
yeah,
Afghanistan.
a lot of political external factors. They had decided,
Politics.
yes, they had decided they were going to boycott the next one, and basically, like in a nutshell, though, they were just like, the U.S. is going to get steamrolled anyway. Why don't we just put it on a tape delay? Like, we don't need to,
right.
use all these extra resources and whatnot, and then also the political factor. So, which is crazy to me because like that just would never fly in today's world anymore. No matter what political thing is going on in the world, like something of this caliber, an Olympic game is going to be on live TV.
Of course.
Well, you guys are too young to remember things like this, but prior to the arrival of Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, there were some NBA championship round games played on tape,
Non-telc?
shown on tape
Correct.
delay.
Yeah. No one ever saw Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game. I don't even think it was
Yeah,
on
right.
It wasn't on
TV at
TV,
all.
That's just
I mean,
crazy.
the Daytona 500 used to be, at the times, was on tape delay.
That's insane.
Right up until Cale Yarborough fought the Allison brothers in the final lap, and all of a sudden they said, "This is really cool stuff. We should show this on TV live."
But going back to your friend though, that's insane that your buddy had a friend or a family member or whatever. Like I think there was like 8,500 people in Lake Placid watching that game, maybe.
Somebody called him, let him know. Like I said, he was a huge fan of Mike Ruzioni because he used to go to Gold Digger games. And then, of course, people who don't realize it, that was only the semifinals.
Right.
Had to come back similar to, except this time we played Finland back in 1980.
For the
was
gold medal game.
Right. I
Yep.
was really hoping Finland would beat Canada in the semis this time.
Yeah.
Because it would have been USA
Right.
and Finland,
Sure.
just like it was in 1980. And, of course, Team USA in 1980 fell behind Finland. And it's like, oh, God, we can't beat the Russians and lose to Finland.
Right.
But,
I mean, much sweeter to beat Canada.
oh,
though,
it
of course.
was. It was. Connor McOverrated and all those other Canucks,
McCarr, McKinnon.
Sorry, guys. And I've heard the Canadians come, oh, we outplayed them, we outshot them. Well, you know what? You lost.
Mm-hmm.
Shots on goal don't matter.
And we tried to get a Canadian on the podcast today
Yeah.
to just defend themselves, defend their country.
No,
but
they're all hanging out north of the border, and that's okay.
yeah,
I don't understand how they could say that. Like I think it was Nathan McKinnon that came out and had that quote from in the post game conference about like, well, we'll let you guys be the judge of who played the better game. Like we can judge it for ourselves. Look at the people that have silver medals around their necks and who have gold, and then look at the scoreboard. Like that was just the stupidest quote to me in my. I don't just baffled me.
What I found interesting is Canada didn't complain about 3-on-3 overtime when they beat Finland in the semis in overtime.
right.
There was no complaint. They didn't complain about other, but you lose, and there's no way they should have lost that game in overtime. Mm-mm. They had the best skaters in the world. Connor McDavid is the fastest thing on skates I've ever seen in my entire life. That guy, if I'm on defense, that guy's a terror every time he's coming through the zone because he's faster than you are. It's like Carl Lewis running against anybody else back in the day. You know what Carl Lewis was?
Yes.
Okay, anyway. Carl Lewis, fastest.
Yep.
Who's the guy from Jamaica?
Usain Bolt.
Usain Bolt.
Yeah.
He's like Usain Bolt on skates.
Right.
Right.
And there's no way with Connor McDavid and the other scores they had on that team that they should have lost. But guess what?
We didn't even give him a chance. It
We
happened
had-
so quick, too.
we
What
had-
was it, in like the second minute?
Yeah.
We had Connor Hellebuck. Okay, that's the MVP, and they still gave the MVP of the tournament to Connor McOverrated. And
I didn't
saw
see
that.
that.
yeah, got the MVP. But here's the thing.
Whatever. Okay.
I have to attribute it to Greg Cody of the Miami Herald, who is a frequent guest on the Dan Le Batard show down in Miami. He's the one the last couple of years when the Florida Panthers have played Edmonton in the Stanley Cup Finals. He wrote a column and referred to him as Connor McOverrated. So I can't take credit for the name. That's Greg Cody, Miami Herald, who did a column yesterday after the game. He had a typo, which I sent him a message about. So just being the editor that I am.
Yeah. Now, the U.S. overall Olympic recap here. We're second in overall medals, second in
Every
gold medals.
category, right?
Pretty good showing for the United States. I think you said pretty early on, you're like, I don't know if we'll win many gold medals.
Well,
but
because we're
pleasant.
not.
Is it 10 or 12?
Yeah, we're not a
12
winter.
golds, 33 overall, second to Norway.
Yep.
We're not in a Winter Olympics kind of country.
Well, we are now.
We are now.
Because,
Yeah.
And, the Canada, they have so much snow up there,
Yeah.
and only 21 overall medals, only 5 golds.
What's the
Well,
excuse?
not to be keeping
I
us
don't
on
know.
skates either, but we kind of are going to be a Winter Olympics like country now going forward. This Team USA, both men's and women's for the hockey teams, are going to be. It's going to be the same core of players for both these teams for years to come, except for maybe the female GOAT of ice hockey, Hillary Knight. She probably, I think she said this might be her last Olympics. I can't remember. I'd have to look back at that, but. So the women's team is going to be pretty much the same core. The men's team is a very young team as well and will be the same core. But then to shift completely off topic of hockey, we have legitimately the next face of figure skating in the U.S. in Alyssa Liu.
Oh, yeah, she's awesome.
Like, she is going to be, like, the best way that I can compare it for people that maybe don't know figure skating or didn't see this, and I'm not even that big of a figure skating fan at all, but her story's awesome.
Just every 4 years when it comes
Right,
around the
exactly.
Olympic.
But
Just like curling.
Which it's like a lot of these sports.
Yeah,
Like,
but
we don't think about speed skating.
Right. But seriously, like she's going to live up to the potential of and be probably considered, as long as she continues to competing at this high level that she is, she'll be like the next Simone Biles in the U.S. basically. Like that is the best comparison that I can give to her. I mean, she is going to be amazing.
And one last note while we're talking about the Olympics, local connection. Hayden Gray's a fellow Shelby alum. Cal Dietz is the strength and conditioning coach for the U.S. women's ice hockey team.
Wow.
So he helped.
know him?
No.
Just a
He's-
Shelby
No,
alum.
no, but now I
he's
do.
Sorry.
He's a tad older than
Yeah,
Hayden.
there's a little bit of an age gap.
But yeah, he's a renowned strength coach with experience at the University of Minnesota, an Olympic level athlete. So congratulations to Shelby's Cal Dietz for helping the U.S. women's hockey team defeat the Canadians and win that gold medal. All right, we don't want to make this a strictly Olympic show. We got some other things to do.
I just want last thing.
Okay.
Here we are, all supporting our country. We disagree on everything under the sun all year, but every 4 years, every 2 years, really, because you got summer and winter alternating, and it's nice to be on the same team for once.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I think, and I'm not suggesting that, you have the Super Bowl every 2 years or every 4 years, but I think that's the thing about the Olympics is the time in between and being on the global stage. I think no matter the event, the sport, that's why you see so much more pride in it. And the Olympics have just maintained that. I mean, it would be hard to mess it up and get rid of it, but competing on a global stage, they just have maintained the
importance,
right,
aura,
right,
all of it.
Yeah.
And I refuse to equate patriotism with politics. I am proud of my country. I don't care who's in Washington, D.C. I don't care who's in Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah, this is a good opportunity to do exactly that.
I will always cheer for American athletes on the world stage.
Agreed.
Same.
All right.
Agreed.
Our thanks to the great folks at Relax It's Just Coffee for sponsoring this show and for being such a great partner to the Newsman Weekly. Every day just starts better with great coffee, and our friend Paul Kimmerling and his baristas at Relax simply have the best in town at 105 North Main Street in downtown Mansfield. Also, thanks to my friend Chris Nicewander for using his AI magic to create this show's new theme song, F.U. Carl Hunnell. I don't hear that often enough. Folks, we have a very special show for you today. In just a few minutes, we'll be joined by a wonderfully talented young local musician, Jody Odom. He has new music that just dropped last week, and he may even introduce even more for us live today on the show, so you'll want to stick around for that. But for now, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about the news of the week, and we'll also revisit Hayden's favorite part of the show, What's Carl Watching? Well, welcome back to the Newsman Weekly. Glad you stuck around. We kind of cut you off short there a moment ago, but glad you stayed with us. Hey,
Thanks,
but
Isaac.
before we get to the news of the week, and it's hard to tell sometimes that this show is sometimes scripted, sometimes not, it's time for, What's Carl Watching?
What's Carl watching?
What's Carl smoking? Watching.
What's Carl watching?
Well, Linda, if you're going to stick around, at least participate.
I didn't realize that was the trend here, boys.
All right, guys. Well, listen, thanks
it's-
for asking. I did dive into some major rerun action this past week in between city council meetings and hockey games. I revisited a wonderful trilogy, Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, and El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie, all from amazing writer-director Vince Gilligan. The trilogy forms a sweeping crime saga about ambition, identity, and consequences in the drug underworld of all places, New Mexico.
You did not watch the full Breaking Bad series.
Yes, I did.
And Better Call Saul.
Wait,
Yes,
when?
yes,
In
I
what
did.
time frame?
Well, about the last 2 weeks altogether.
Okay, I was about to. I thought
God.
you said
In a
weekend. In a weekend, that's
No.
insane.
Okay. Breaking
Even
Bad.
2 weeks.
Breaking Bad features high school chemistry teacher Walter White, who, after a terminal cancer diagnosis, partners with former student Jesse Pinkman to cook methamphetamine. What starts as a plan to provide for his family in the future mutates into a relentless hunger for power as Walt embraces his alter ego Heisenberg. Epic work by stars Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul. It came out in 2008.
And the review comes 18 years later.
Yeah, okay. Fast forward to 2015, Better Call Saul began and functions as both a prequel and a sequel to Breaking Bad. The hell of a thing to pull off. Transform the latter by providing tragic backstory, context, and deeper motivations for characters like Saul Goodman, Gus Fring, and Mike Ehrmantraut. It illustrates how Jimmy McGill evolved into the morally bankrupt Saul Goodman, filling in the gaps leading up to his epic first meeting with Walter White. El Camino serves as a quiet epilogue. Came out, I think, like 2019 maybe, following Jesse's desperate bid for freedom after Walt's downfall, bringing the saga to a haunting, hard-won close. You got to watch them in order, folks. 5 seasons of Breaking Bad, 6 seasons of Better Call Saul, and 1 El Camino movie. It's worth every second. If you're an insomniac and you can't sleep, you're watching it all in the middle of the night.
Wow.
Some of the best TV ever made. You guys watch any of this?
It
Yes,
is really good.
yes.
I've seen Breaking Bad. I've seen most of Better Call Saul. I never did watch El Camino, though. Does it actually close a loop in the story?
Yes. Big time.
It closes
Because
everything
over
up.
that decade, I just eventually
You always
kinda gave
wondered.
up on it.
Have you ever wondered what happened to Jesse Pinkman?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, well, this
Well,
certainly.
what? How could you not
I don't
wonder?
know. It was just a
he's locked
great-
up in a little sewer,
Yeah.
man.
Well,
I'm just still, while Carl's looking, I don't know. I'm just still staggered that he accomplished this because I'm someone that stays
It
up
is
exactly.
incredible.
We
Yeah.
both stay up really late, and I'm catching heat because
you got to want it.
I've made it through 6.5 seasons of another old show, Homeland.
Yeah, you got to
I've
want
watched it really quick in my wife's eyes, but man, it's been like a month, and you're making it through 2. I don't
You
get it.
just got to
get
dedicate.
it.
You have to want it. You got to dig deep. You got to be like Connor Hellebuck. And you said none of these episodes are getting by me tonight.
right.
I'm
right.
watching
Fair
them all.
enough.
No,
By the way,
respect
How many
man.
on average would you watch a night? You
I
think?
don't know. You just
2 or
keep.
3 years.
It's on Netflix. You just
How many of them are you sleeping through?
you
though?
just
Do
keep
count
clicking
those?
next episode. I mean, there are some times if you fall asleep
drift off.
or you have
You're
too
not
many.
going back.
You have
right?
too many road sodas, and you got to click back and remember what you didn't see before. But huge kudos to Bob Odenkirk, who played Better Call Saul, and Jimmy McGill, and some of the best. I put it right up there with the best TV ever done, which was The Wire. If you haven't watched
Oh,
that, go back and watch that
That's
on
solid
HBO.
too. Yeah.
All right, so we're all done with that. Let's get to some news because I want to get to Jody Odom. Hey, bond was set at $10,000 on February 19th for Butler Mayor Wesley Dingus during his arraignment in Mansfield Municipal Court on 2 misdemeanor counts of voyeurism. Magistrate John McAllister set bond at 10% of that, ordered Dingus to have no contact with the alleged victim, and to wear electronic monitoring if he is released, and I believe he was. Authorities say the 48-year-old is accused of sniffing a minor's previously worn underwear on 2 occasions. Investigators with the Richland County Sheriff's Office say the incidents, allegedly on January 13th, were recorded on a small video camera. The investigation began after a referral from Richland County Children's Services. Dingus, who was represented in court by defense attorney James Mayer III, pleaded not guilty. Mayer told the court his client has no prior criminal convictions, has complied with all bond conditions in a separate felony case that's still pending in Richland County Common Pleas Court. Prosecutors noted the new allegations occurred while Dingus was out on bond in that case. In 2025, a grand jury indicted Dingus on felony charges, including aggravated assault and vehicular assault stemming from a July incident in which he allegedly struck a man with his vehicle while that man was fleeing from police. That case remains pending in Richland County Common Pleas Court.
Not to put you on the spot, Carl, I believe not directly tied to this case. It's not any kind of court proceeding, but I believe the Village of Butler is having an emergency or special town hall. I'm not sure if you saw anything. I would have to imagine somewhat connected. Or
I think I saw somewhere that there is a Butler Town Council meeting on the 24th in the evening. We'll have to wait and see what transpires from that. But I don't know what the deal is with him continuing with Mayor. It is what it is there. I am keeping track to see if the prosecutors in the felony case, who I believe are coming out of the Attorney General's office down in Columbus, it's not being prosecuted by the local prosecutor's office, to see whether they would seek to have anything done with his bond in Common Pleas Court. We'll keep track of that.
Now, this became national news as well. Your little story, your little Butler Mayor story.
I can't speak to any of that. I simply
You didn't see it in the New York Post or on the...
No, I did not.
It was, and I didn't see anybody linking to your work, though.
Well, that's okay.
Except...
I don't need to link to.
Well, I just think it's interesting when these things kind of get picked up nationally, and it's like, okay, well, it was either Lou Whitmire or Carl Hunnell that took that picture, and I'm not seeing any of their names credited, but I got to shout out the Tennessee Holler, which is a internet personality and a Twitter X account, and they did say, like, we had to check and make sure this was true. It is, and then linked the Richland Source article.
Nice.
So
good
for them.
Not surprising.
Apparently, the Tennessee Holler is keeping track of Butler, Ohio.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Mansfield Mayor Jodie Perry says she's going to unveil her State of the City address in mid-March during a live stream event that will also be open to the public. She's going to do it inside City Council chambers on an evening that is not a regular council meeting night. The public will be invited to attend in person. The city is working with DRM Productions of Mansfield to produce a video highlights package that will be debuted during that presentation. She said a major focus will be infrastructure improvements in 2025, including the $20.3 million Main Street Corridor Improvement Project, the B&O Trail Connector to Trimble Road, the Water Main Initiative Project, and upgrades to the city parks. She said there will also be comments and updates about the police and fire departments. Jody also told me she'll present the city's final 2026 budget at the March 3rd council meeting. Council approved a temporary budget in December, but they got to approve a final version by the end of March. She said some cuts from the original are expected, but nothing major. Finance Director Kelly Converse previously warned of possible economic cooling, her words. While income tax revenue met projections, it was down 2.4% from the prior year. So keep track of that, and we'll see. I'll let you know when she's going to do the State of the City address.
When's the Butler State of the City?
First of all, it's not a city, it's a village.
The State of the Village.
And I have no idea.
Okay.
a little busy.
Curious.
A little busy.
The other things
Too busy
on.
watching Breaking Bad reruns.
Breaking Bad reruns. Anyway, the Madison Local Schools Board of Education voted February 18th to suspend middle school science teacher Abby Radabaugh and consider her termination after allegations of improper behavior toward students. Radabaugh, an 8th grade science teacher at Madison Middle School, was suspended without pay or benefits during the pendency termination proceedings, according to a board resolution. The suspension took effect the next day. In an email to Richland source, Katie Ellington Sorrell, Radabaugh called the allegations unsubstantiated. The resolution states the board believes Radabaugh's conduct constitutes grounds for termination and warrants suspension prior to formal action. She had 10 days to request a hearing before the board or an Ohio Department of Education and Workforce officer, according to Superintendent Rob Peterson. She has not taught since January 23rd. That letter that she got also barred her from school grounds, functions, and communication with students, parents, or teachers without written permission. Allegations include making sexually inappropriate comments to female students, smacking two students on the bottom,
Can't do that.
asking inappropriate questions about clothing, and showing online images of underwear in class.
Gross.
Radabaugh declined to resign, calling the allegations unsubstantiated, said she will participate in hearings. She's been with the district since 2021, originally hired to a 3-year contract in 2024. All right, that's enough for now. I'm done with all that stuff.
Need some good news, snooze man.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a quick break. When we come back, speaking of good news, we will be joined by talented local musician Jody Odom, and we're going to get Jack Slamenda the hell out of here.
Yep.
Stay with
Sayonara.
us.
Hey, thanks for joining us
Yeah,
today,
thanks.
Jack. You're
Appreciate
a true
it, guys.
American.
Thank you.
Get down to Delaware, would you? Well, welcome back to the Newsman Weekly. Joining us now, as promised, is the uber-talented local musician Jody Odom. Welcome, Jody. Thanks for taking time with us today.
Absolutely, sure thing.
Glad to see you. Let's go back to the beginning, Jody. I remember seeing you for the first time, myself anyway, as Captain Hook at the Mansfield Playhouse in a youth production of Peter Pan back in 2015. I'm dating myself and you at the same time. So clearly music has been your big thing in your life for years. So tell us how it all started and what attracted you to music in the first place.
Golly, I'll never forget when I was in preschool and I first heard at least something that made me move. And I'm looking back on it, it just felt like an out-of-body experience a little bit. I just remember one specific, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Kirk Franklin type number. He's a very popular gospel artist. And I just remember hearing that in preschool and moving. And ever since then, it's just been like just something I can't get away from, honestly. Ever since then, I've always been moving, impersonating, like ever since I was younger. So I just feel like I was meant to just act up in front of people at this point.
Was it gospel music a lot when you're in the younger days that you were kind of
Absolutely.
raised on?
That was literally my only, I was very secluded. So that was all we were able to listen to. I could be listening to a Rick James joint. I was exposed to that type of music because a lot of the gospel artists I would listen to would take elements from those type of things, so that type of songs and everything like that. So I would know it, but years later, a lot of the songs I was listening to would bite off either Teddy Riley and all those things. And here I am thinking that I had no exposure to those type of things, but artists like Kirk Franklin and all of them, they would incorporate this type of music. So,
this will come as a shock to you, having heard me sing on stage 5 or 6 feet away. This will come as a shock to you. I had the complete opposite experience as a young man in school. 2nd grade, we were doing Mary Poppins in Brunswick, Georgia, and I got cast as a banker. Okay, so we only had to sing one song, Let's Go Fly a Kite, at the very end of the show.
Golly.
And the first time we rehearsed, the teacher walked over and she said, "You don't really need to sing. You could just mouth the words."
Oh, man.
So, having heard me, you understand why in the 2nd grade they said, music
Trying to
might
save
not be
face for you,
Yeah,
Carl.
music might not be your thing, Carl. So
I love honesty. I love it, man. I love it. It saved you so much trouble.
Who knows where you'd be?
some people might not know that Jody and I were in a Effie James show.
Yes, we were.
couple-
Oh, man.
Just a few years ago.
yeah.
And, Jody does a great job, and Brittany Schock was also in that show. Jody and Brittany, many talent. Najee Rawls, a lot of great vocalists in that show, and
Yeah.
then there was me and Effie.
And he also attended. He was also in the cast and everything. So yeah, he was also there.
Yeah, so Effie asked, when he asked me to do the part, he said it's a musical, and I said, Effie, I don't sing. He goes, well, you only have to sing this little bit. And I said, well, it's going to be a bit because I'm not even going to try. So yeah. But I enjoyed listening to you guys perform, and it just reminded me, when did you? How many different kinds of theatrical shows have you been involved in?
Man,
And which do you
honestly,
prefer? Like,
It's been such a good like as soon as you mentioned Captain Hook, it really, I really just felt it's just really dating because now I'm approaching 30 and I was in my senior year of high school, so it really is just gone in a flash, just like that.
wait till you get to be 64, and you realize it's really gone by in a flash, man.
Oh yeah. I'm so tired of these youngins trying to make us 30-year-olds look Jurassic. I'm like, sweet Christmas. I'm like, there's so many cool folks that have made it to 60 and everything like that. 30 is nothing to me, but I don't know. I digress. But either way, yeah, no. Like I said, I haven't done musicals since I was, at least in a decade, and I do miss it. So after dropping this project that I'm working on, I'm definitely venturing out into doing more musicals and everything. That's on my list for sure.
Cool. Now, I've seen you describe yourself, and you are an aspiring songwriter who you write, you arrange, produce your own tracks. So walk us through kind of a typical songwriting process for you. Do you start with the lyrics? Do you start with a melody on the keyboard, a beat? How does it all come together?
It depends on the day and it depends on the occasion. But I feel like ever since I was in second grade, I was subconsciously, because I was in class, but I was never in class, if you know what I'm talking
Physically
about.
present. Right,
I was
right.
not sweet Christmas. Being present, you don't understand how much I struggled with being present, because I literally made it my New Year's resolution for the past 3 years to be more present. I feel like I've always been drifting into whatever song or whatever, because pairing, not only musically inclined, but also being, artistically inclined, because ever since then, if it wasn't thinking about music, I'd either be drawing something. I'd either be drawing the teacher as a giraffe or something like that, or I'd either be drawing, it's always been like that. And I'm just one of those ones who just, the right side of my brain was fantastic, but the left one just needed some work. But I didn't know how, at least intelligent or at least emotionally intelligent I was until somebody pointed it out to me and everything. So that being said, while I lacked in school, artistically I was always there and everything.
When did you realize I can just lean into this and be this way creative all the time? I mean, obviously it's like the universe kind of telling you these ideas here, and thinking about music and art is your thing. Like, you don't need to worry about math or physics or anything.
Yeah, leave all the theorems and angles to somebody else.
But you've come to terms with that, right?
Is that a compliment, Zach?
It is.
It is something. It's something. It's nonfiction. That's what it is. But that's what it is.
Well, we all get to benefit from your,
Well, either way, no, you're right. It's just one of those things, man. To where I always knew I was at least meant to be performing, or at least to make people laugh, or to just bring light to a room. It's so much more, and it's definitely not one dimensional too. I used to, honestly, got to a point to where I resented myself because, for a while I used it as a mask, and then I'll tell you, not to go too deep into anything else or whatever the question was, but I'm telling you right now, like, when you have a gift like that, or when it's, when it's that potent to where it's just art has always been my thing, in what, more than music and more than just drawing or anything like that, because my dad, he painted and things like that too. So it's just in my genes at this point. And, but to moonwalk it back and not to get too far.
I've seen you moonwalk.
To encourage anybody else who's, struggles in class, or who has, whose thoughts or dreams are bigger than what's in front of them, just don't, just to ride it out. Get around those other mutants like yourself. Get around those other individuals to, who, to just strengthen those strengths, because they are strengths, but to also, just get around others who are grounded as well too. There's a balance between it all,
Right. Now, some of your songs really seem deeply personal. I think the song Forever, which you wrote after losing your grandmother. I think you recorded that in a church setting with some family and friends.
Yeah, man.
How do real life experiences kind of do they spark a lot of songs for you, and how do you turn those moments into finished lyrics and music?
That's right. Well, I mean, like I said before, it depends. Sometimes the music comes first. Sometimes pretty much life experience. It always inspires music, honestly, because I would say I did have to step back for a good while too, because for a while I was just hung up on just creating the next big thing, or just doing anything for attention, I'll say, because while my strength was being gifted, but there was always a flip side to that, because I was so used to getting attention, and then I used that as a mask for a good while. And I think pairing that to what's going on with people in real life is that people are getting lost in what the music is for in the first place, because it's not for it's not for attention. Attention is just a product of that. Money or income, it's always a product of how great we are and everything like that, but that's not why we do it. But I said all that to say is that because for a while I lost the meaning of why I do it. I forgot that life is supposed to influence the music. Life is supposed to influence the art, not the funds or
Fame.
anything external. So that's where I was going with that. You definitely asked me because I have a habit of going off, if you can't tell.
No,
so I had
fine.
to give myself an anchor. So to be like, okay, so what we were speaking about before you drift off in that creative ass hot air balloon you are going on, what we were talking about was what comes first? What's the inspiration? Yeah. So lately I've been getting back into letting life influence what we're doing. And I feel like all artists would be better off if they would just continue to live first before trying to seek out Michael's, Golden Glove or anything else, shiny before that. So if that answers your question in a way, I hope it does.
It does.
So
now, you've shared some clips and posts about kind of following the feeling in your songwriting. What does that mean in practice? I mean, do you have any rituals, like late night rituals with a keyboard, or voice memos on your phone? Something comes to you and you just record it to remember it. How does that work?
Mr. White, I tell you.
For those who don't know, that was my name in the show that Effie James wrote. We had a wonderful interaction. Mr. White was very much what the name entails. And Jody was Brittany's boyfriend, and Mr. White had some issues with that fact, and it was all part of the show.
Yeah.
Though it almost got me killed.
Yeah, but it's all right. We worked it out. You give me your racism, and I give you my aunt. I give you my aunt. Because that's my favorite line of yours at the end of the show.
Some clips you can't probably take out of context there.
It was a wonderful show, a musical about relationships and family and interrace relations. And it was
pretty much. So but no, you did great at the role you were meant to portray.
Well, that seems overly harsh, Joe.
No,
I just remember
because you were flowering me with these compliments, and I'm trying to give it back. But the role that you were playing so well
was not a good person. Well, he was by the end. I just remember doing it at Mansfield Senior, and I forget what the line was, but I wrote it or said it the way it was written, and there was a woman sitting in the front row, and I heard her clearly. Oh no, he didn't. I'm like, I'm gonna get killed, Effie, before I get out of this theater tonight.
Oh yeah, but we would have had your back. It's all right. We were all determined to keep you alive and keep the show going. Okay, but
anyway, do you ever, like, you're thinking of something, you grab your phone and singing into it, or?
Yeah, for the most part, it's always been voice memos for a good minute. I honestly don't have a muse, I could partake in the marijuana, but she just don't like me. Mary don't like me.
Too paranoid, or
too paranoid, like zoinks for real. Yeah. Like, Ringos, like, nope. I'm gonna stick with letting life be my muse because I just can't. It just never worked for me. So, but that being said, I am forcing myself to live more because once upon a time I did want to take a shot before shows because I noticed how loose I was, you know. But I'm just like, you know, if I have way too many examples now. There's no excuse just to dive into, you know, whatever negative, you know, ones there are, you know. And I don't shame anybody who does, you know, partake in, you know, Mary or anything like that. But I'm just saying, you know, I'm already taken, so she's for somebody else. So, but yeah, no, inspiration. Like I said, back to the beginning, you know, being more present and letting life speak to me. So that's where I'm going with that.
Now, a song like, I think it was titled Go Along Baby, it's got a kind of funky, collaborative energy when you perform with people like Cole Will and Tarkington Johnson. Do you write with live performance in mind, or like do collaboration shape the song after the idea?
That is such a... Let me tell you about that song, honestly. That song, for those who don't know, that's a song that's not even out yet, but it was like one of the first ones I performed. First originals I performed just in general to a live audience. That particular one was for Tommy's show, and I'm like, you know what? I really need to just finish writing some songs. So I finished 3 songs before that show with Tommy Barnes.
That's where I heard it at.
Yeah, pretty much. So that you took me back with that one. We literally just finished that one the night before. But yeah, nowadays, most definitely. I feel like I always envision, you know, how would this sound, you know, in front of people? How would this sound, you know, how is this going to affect the room? Because I just know that's one of the reasons why I do it, apart from for myself. But some songs I definitely do, you know, have in mind to like just really, you know, affect, a room, or how would this speak to somebody. So yeah, sometimes music does turn into an assignment in that way.
I mean, I've seen you collaborate with musicians of every genre, from country to R&B to rock.
Yeah.
Is there a preference that you have, and where do you find inside the, you know, I don't know a lot of guys or girls that like do country and do R&B. That's just like,
man, nowadays, you know, it's, I think a lot of people are heading in that direction now. Nowadays you'll find so many rapping country artists at this point. Everybody's just, it's bound to happen at this point, you know. All the mixed babies that are out there, you know, it's just bound to happen. So, you know, it's pretty soon there ain't gonna be no black and white. There's gonna be no divide, and it's all meshing together, you know, at this point. But with me personally, whatever sounds good, because if I were to have one comfort, you know, one comfy food or whatever, then it would be R&B, because obviously that's the foundation. With that paired with gospel, of course. But then as I went on, you know, I realized that the human emotions are way too diverse to be expressed in one genre. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it all goes based on whatever mood I'm in or whatever I'm feeling at that point. Sometimes, I'll put a little twang on it, you know, a little something, you know, whatever I'm feeling, you know. And some days, you know, I'll in my closet, I'll rap. No, the world has yet to hear that part to me, but it is something that I will
working
do,
on it. It's in the bag.
You know, yeah. If I, if I drink enough, but but there's that. With rock, that as well. You know, I literally. This is gonna sound super random, but a part of performing with Emily Raff, you know, I've done country and everything. I haven't done metal yet, but with rock, I have a Christian band that I'm singing lead for this coming March. It's this Christian rock band that's influenced by Kiss. And we are called The Rise of Laz. That will
Laz?
be, yes, The
Like
Rise
Lazarus?
of Laz, yes.
Okay.
That's what, but I haven't written this. It's my buddy Jesse Robinson, but honestly, he's super talented, and if you guys don't have anything going on in May, I feel like that's something you should check out, because that's one of my multiple experiments going on. So yeah, But yeah,
Well,
like
you
I
did a
said,
newsroom after hours. What was it,
say.
last year or the year before?
Yeah.
In the basement. It was
Yeah.
like June. It was really hot.
Oh God,
And
yeah.
you and Emily Raff performed together a little bit, and then Luke Watson also played that night. That was one of my favorite shows because it was so all over the place with genre, kind of. Like Luke ended it with like steel guitar, country. You brought the energy. Emily had a violin player like with her, and it was crazy.
Those are honestly my favorite type of gigs, man, because I just really love connecting with different types of people. It's just me. It's not even the patriot, the America part to me. That's just me. Dang it, I lost my train of thought. Sweet Christmas. I'm turning 30. It's
Collaborating
just
with
parachuted out of my
different
mind. Yes, I
genres.
love collaborate. Oh yeah, there we go. My obsession lately has been with the other side of my understanding. So that being said, I will shake your hand. I will see what's going on, because in this world, not to get political or anything like that, but in this world to where everybody's just 10 toes down on whatever sheltered thought they're in right now, I want to be the one who dares to ask questions on the other side or whatever.
We call that complicating the narrative sometimes.
Yes.
In
Oh,
the
yeah.
journalistic world. Nice, Zach. Yeah.
I mean, I love to interview different kinds of people, get different ideas. We had a guest on last week who was translating the Bible from Greek through what kind of lens was that?
Hellenic
Pan-Hellenic?
Hellenic Greek
Hellenic,
view.
yeah. And I have I have no idea what she was talking about in some places, but I will defend to the death her ability to come on this show and say it.
And that's all you can do, man.
Oh, it was a
Well, and
fun
just
show.
getting in front of people and meeting them too, because nobody's actually talks to people like they do on social media. Like,
No.
if you're face to face with people, it's always going to be different.
Completely different. And I love how bold these idiots are online now, because I'm like, if you were in front of this person right now, this would be completely different conversation. You'd be shaking Elvis right now.
Yeah.
And I know I would if I were to say certain things. So it's just like, let's bring back being in person. That's the one thing that COVID ruined. So, it's
Exactly.
just, you can't get around that natural pacing and that natural rational thinking of when you see 6 foot something and you want to question twice what, if you're going to actually say that. But,
Right.
Well,
what
and
it
that's why I'm glad you brought up that particular newsroom after hours too, because I think that's the first time I got to watch you perform live.
Yeah.
And I remember, just so much mixture of genres and collaboration in that night. And that being said too, it's a more intimate setting. You've got, I don't know, 100 people or fewer, but those are all people that write, you're talking in between sets or songs. So I think that kind of relates to what you're saying too. That environment brings people together that could see things differently, that can talk and just all be in one place.
Most definitely. No, I definitely miss it. But this year I had to take a step back so I can finally release music, because
In the studio more.
all of y'all know that I've just been on the cover scene for far too long.
Yeah.
Far too long. And I feel like I've just been hoarding so much music, and considering who knows where this world is going, I'm like, you know what, just put it all out there. Just put it all out there.
Right.
It's not gonna matter. Just do it anyway.
Yeah.
So just do it.
Now, good segue. My next thing I was going to ask you about is you've released some originals independently. You've teased new material. But how do you decide when a song is done and it's ready to be recorded, put down on a track, and given out to the public? Is it something that your gut says, okay, that's good, or are you somebody that wants to keep tweaking, make changes?
You know what? Here's a little secret. You just lean in. If you're listening online, if you're an artist and you overthink, I'm gonna need you to listen. Lean on in. Do a little smooth criminal lean into your speakers right now. Here's the secret. Decide to finish it. Sweet Christmas, decide to finish it. I don't want to say never. Because I realize I thought it was that black and white. Sometimes it is that black and white. It depends on the type of artist you are. I am very fortunate to just be unknown enough to where I can make mistakes. So while you are beginning, do not be too harsh on yourself. Just make it and just let it be made.
See what people think about it.
Yeah.
Like, you're never going to get feedback on anything if you don't ever release anything.
Exactly.
Right?
Make it and let it be made and let it be just that.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're looking back on it, don't even be too harsh on that, because it is what it is. And what was that? Your beginning phase. So for me, after having some time, past being just a beginner, I've just, it goes with a feeling now. It goes with a feeling, work at it until it feels good at this point,
Yeah, I think you're exactly right, because I remember when I started out in the newspaper business, and I thought I was writing some really good stuff. It's getting published, it's really good, and now if I have occasion to go back and look 30 or 35 years at stuff I was writing then, I'm like, oh, man, what the hell? What was I thinking?
Right, yeah.
But you know what? I did it.
Yeah.
I learned from it. I moved on, and the next one got better.
But that's what goes with not skipping steps and letting your story unwind, pretty much. You have, first off, you have to give yourself a chance to begin, because if you don't begin, then you can't get to the next step, which is getting better. So, it's once again going again with being present in that moment. You can't think past that. I've been saying, living in the pages, pretty much. So if you're in that beginning state, don't think past the beginning. Just frickin' begin, so you can make it to that next step. It's not your job to see, what the epilogue is already. You already written your forward. All you have is your history. So just build on that and be present. So.
And like music collaborations, well, obviously one of the most famous was Lennon and McCartney.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, they seldom, if ever, wrote together.
Mm-hmm.
They shared, obviously, the musical catalogs, but they didn't necessarily collaborate a lot.
Yeah.
When you have a collaboration like Stranger Times with Sarah Goff, or First Choice, how does co-writing differ from your solo process? Is it different? How do you sit down and bounce ideas? How does that work?
Yep, co-writing. Everything. I am appreciating, because I've been writing for myself for so long, and when I got in that bind a while ago that I mentioned before, it's because I was too much in myself. When you're too much into yourself, you start looking too hard on your image, you start looking too hard on what people think of you, and you don't create room for more. But when you're writing with somebody else, you're forced to look outside of yourself and to also listen to what they have to say too. So nowadays, I prefer to work with more people, so that way I'm not getting too wrapped into myself. And like I said, I'm learning to appreciate the collaborative process of life in general. We all like to play this front. We've all been hurt so damn much to where we like to play as if we don't need people. No, we just don't like to need people.
Yeah.
And now, I promise I'm moonwalking back. I'm getting that anchor. I'm getting back to the anchor. I promise I'm going somewhere with this. I promise I'm going somewhere with this.
I'm following.
Now it's about choosing the right people. And that being said, on the collaborative point, I'm glad to be surrounded with people like Sarah for Stranger Times and Najee for First Choice, because they're a solid, group of humans in the first place. And as someone who has been working on getting better, being a better human, it just makes all the difference in the collaborative process. So I used to be surrounded with not so great people, which is why I didn't collab in the first place. For a while, I was playing a Lone Ranger with creatively, and now I'm finally in a point to where I'm with decent people. So the decent people make all the difference. And on the collaborative process, it's it's a lot of listening, and it's a lot of hearing their story out and combining those that experience for the right product at the end. So
Gotcha.
Can you talk about being a creative and an artist in Mansfield? And talk about Mansfield's music scene a little bit. Do you want to get the hell out of here, or have you kind of, I don't know. I feel like for a lot of everybody in Man, it's whether you're creative or not, it's kind of you get to that age in your 20s where you're like, oh yeah, I don't see myself here.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to be 30 and 40 and whatever, and it's like, okay, well maybe this town actually has a lot to offer.
Yeah.
And I feel like people in the music scene here are more and more kind of embracing it and collaborating. So that's a great thing. But how do you feel about it all?
there's been a evolution in my feelings towards the city.
Okay.
It has evolved greatly. In the beginning, when I touched down here in my little spaceship in 2012, we moved here from ministry, and originally.
Okay.
So, but then things went down. The church, separated in their natural separate ways and everything, and I grew up, moved out of my folks' place, and on the music scene originally. Personally, it wasn't, there wasn't too much going on artistic, at least when I got here.
Right.
I just happened to come in Mansfield. I feel like it was just like right after either things just really went down or because I came here and they're like, we used to have a music theater. I mean, not music. We used to have a dollar theater. Oh, I'm like, oh, cool. That's nice to know. We used to have a skate ring. Oh, that's nice to know.
When I'm
yeah. I'm like, well, was there anything else to do? So, and then
Jobs.
Yeah.
Those are gone too.
Jobs and gluten. All right, jobs, gluten, jobs, gluten and drinks. So yeah, but lately, I've as I got around more artists who are willing to, light the fire, like, certain artists, just to name a few, like Von Doom.
Yeah.
There's The Cause, Richland Source starting it out. I feel like I was just, as I was gaining my legs musically, the music scene is starting to do that, with their after hours scene and everything. And then, I stopped putting the blame on other people to get me up because, like those artists that I named, they are working their asses off independently. So I had a conversation with somebody. I'm like, man, there's nothing to do here. Then, then the person was like, well, just get up, do something.
You gotta make it happen.
Do something.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, you know what? That's what the other, what my peers are doing. So, you know what? I'm going to do the same thing. Because, and just like anywhere else, there's going to be competition. And if you can't take it here, you're not going to be able to take it in those bigger venues. So,
Right.
So that's, yeah.
Some of the things I've heard, it's like, oh, wait till I get to Miami or whatever. It's like, well, we don't even know who you are here.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Why don't you start
Yes.
here and then maybe, but also there's a lot to be had here. Like,
Right,
it's
right.
not like it's a 500-person village. Like,
Right, yes.
Mansfield's a
yes,
city.
Yes. And it's like,
and there is a history of like music here too.
exactly. And there's that too. And I'm really trusting and believing that we will eventually be more than the Shawshank, It's like,
As great as it is.
as great as cool as it is. As cool, there's more to us. And I'm trusting and believing that because I feel like the music scene, it's just lately, it's been growing. I feel like it's been growing lately. I know Snow Trails, the whole Mansfield Music Fest isn't a thing. I know there are some things have been, put on halt.
Yep.
I won't speak on it. I don't want a dart going in my neck or anything like that. I don't know the situation, but I will say that it's been in the eye of the beholder type situation, and also it comes within. So I feel like I'm just encouraged now to make some things happen and to make noise, which is why I took a step back from making music because I'm like, you know what? I'm done waiting on somebody to pick me up and take me to other cities. I'm like, you know what? Just be the artist that you want to come see, that you would pay that money to see. So I feel like if I give that energy, others around me will do the same because I know I've been inspired by those artists that I listed before. So I'm like, okay, just get up, make some noise, and let people hear the noise and bring them to you on some Little Russell, mess.
You were talking about leaving town. I remember before you guys played at the After Hours when I interviewed Luke Watson. He had gone to Nashville for several months, and he had come back. And I said, so why did you come back from Nashville? He goes, got tired eating bologna. Sometimes,
Tastes the same there as it does here.
Going to a big city where there's imminently more competition and
Yes.
some, for every Patsy Cline, there's 57,000 Alice Williams who went there and for whatever reason got tired eating bologna and came home. So I mean, I mentioned Patsy Cline because I just saw that movie over the weekend with oh goodness, now I'm going to trap myself. the Neil Diamond impersonation. What was that movie?
I just don't know how you have time to watch
Yeah, holy
anything else
crap.
in between all your Breaking
Olympics
Bad
and-
reruns.
Hold
Oh
on.
my goodness.
Yeah, hold on. I'm going to look it up. There's a
boy.
he
This
was
could
like
be a
in
while.
Thunder and Lightning, the famous actor Neil Diamond.
Look it up, but
Hey, you guys talk
we'll
amongst
chat a little bit
yourselves. I'm gonna
about. I
look this up.
love what you said about just doing it here in Mansfield. It's like that hat they have over at Relax. Do it in Mansfield.
Yeah.
I mean, but for real though,
Yeah,
like
for
more people just need to do it. Like,
Yeah.
stop complaining and just do it.
Do
You are
it.
part of the scene here.
And inspire somebody else to do it too. So
Right.
build this. You can actually build something here.
Mhm.
So I feel like it's challenged me in so many ways. Because it's easy to go into a big city and do what everybody else is doing and trailing, but it's
Right.
even harder, in all honesty, to start nowhere and to build something.
Mhm.
But at least you can build something here. And if you want to, eventually go off, then go off. But I feel like these have been great training grounds for me to get started.
Well, and that's how you keep the momentum going. Just like you said, you were inspired by people before you. There could be someone right now completely unnoticed, hasn't stepped out that you might be inspiring. That's how you keep
Exactly.
it going.
Exactly.
All right, just for people who don't think I'm losing my mind, the movie I was talking about came out in 2025. It's called Song Sung Blue.
Okay.
It's a
Oh, just a
musical
year to forget.
biographical film about the real-life Milwaukee Neil Diamond tribute band, Lightning and Thunder.
Okay.
And in the movie, it was Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson.
Okay. I've seen reels about
And
that.
I watched it last night. And Hugh Jackman's very talented.
Yeah.
I've seen him in lots of different things.
Mm-hmm.
I much prefer him in action movies versus musical things because he's kind of scary. All I see, he played the Wolverine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just keep seeing him as the Wolverine, and I'm like, dude,
because he was in
you're-
Les Mis, right?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like, I do want to. I realize you want to expand your horizons, but dude, yeah, he kind of scares me. I got to tell you something. Part of the reason I wanted you on the show is my mouse has just died. Let me move this around.
Tragic.
I was blown away last week when I saw your new collaboration on YouTube with Najee Rawls. We're going to put a link to that. In fact, we'll put the whole YouTube video as part of the show notes in the story we're going to do about this. But that was just an amazing performance. Tell me about collaborating with Najee. Who shot the video? How did it all come together? And congratulations. It's really damn good.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Funny, it actually started with me wanting to do kind of like a men's group with Najee and another vocalist in this area. His name is Amari Moore. He sings R&B, and I can't wait to get his music off the ground. I can't wait till he gets more active.
He did Mansfield Music Fest, didn't he?
Yes, he
Couple years
did.
ago?
Yeah, he did. Yep. That was me, him, and Amari Moore. And immediately I heard this. I was working, and I heard this melody in my head, and I felt like this would be great for Najee to sing. So originally it was supposed to be just for Najee, but then the more I wrote it, the more it started becoming a bit more personal, and then the more I'm just like, man, this is amazing. We both just need to hop on this. So we did, and we just ended up making the song happen. And this was actually done 2 years ago. And then I lost. The song was done in the bones and everything 2 years ago. But then, life thought I needed a little bit more plot development, so my computer crashed.
No.
And I lost all of my music with 2 drives it was saved on and everything.
Whoa.
So, it was
That's got to be like debilitating, kind of.
Oh yeah, man. I took
catastrophic.
an even longer pause after that.
Yeah.
So that being said, I have and plus the music I've been stacking on top of that. I got so much music I can release this year that I will release this year.
And you got it like backed up pretty
Yes,
well.
I do.
this
Oh
time.
yeah. Oh, this time around, I've learned my lesson. So yeah, I got it this time around. But yeah, no, we ended up re-recording it.
Was the
making it happen
video
this year.
done 2 years ago, or is that new?
Nah, that was done like literally last month.
And was that Jameson, but Mind Capsule?
Yep, Jameson, Mind Capsule Media, and yeah, no man, that's actually just the lyric video too. That's just a lyric
Right.
video. So the music video is gonna be, a lot. There's gonna be a lot more angles, a lot more dancing and movement in that one. Jameson, he's really patient with me because I got so much in mind, but we kept it simple enough to where we could execute it and everything. So
I was going to say, this is like the longest I've ever seen you sit still. Because when I've seen you gig and perform, man, I mean, you are movement.
Oh yeah, man. Oh no, you should see my foot. It's jackhammering on this freaking table. But no, man, it's a completely different beast on the stage. Honestly, I'm only an extrovert when it comes to being on stage. So after that, I'm really all for just going straight to the room, going straight to the hotel, and everything. So eventually, when that happens, but fame is going even further and further down my list, considering all that's going on out there. I just want to make some music. I just want to make some noise and compensate me. And I just want to, I don't mind bringing a helicopter back down to this little small city for, I really don't mind it. But yeah, no, eventually when I do get back to performing this year, it'll be on a whole different level. That's the goal. The goal is to really, really take off in making quality music and making enough noise to where I can, either bring us somewhere else and bring more people here. There's no exact plan except to just make quality work. And I feel like I'm trusting that people from other areas will come and just pull us wherever needed,
Yeah.
Where did the music, the education training come from? You play a lot of different instruments. You obviously can mix and do these things.
Yeah.
All self-taught, or where did you learn that?
All self-taught in YouTube University. So
That's the way.
Yeah, that's the way, and it's mad convenient, especially when you can't afford to pay musicians to come, professional musicians to come down and play everything. So I had to learn everything. I had to, and I feel like lately with what I've been doing, I've been one of the only ones to really hear the music the way that I hear it sometimes, and that's just, that's just where I'm at creatively. I'm very hands-on with everything that I'm doing, and it is discouraging to see all this Suno, and to see Skynet take over everything, with AI and everything. But, as much of a fossil as I want to be, I'm trusting that music will, that people still love home-cooked meals. Yeah. And that's where that's my story, and that's where I'm sticking to it with that, because I'm doing my best not to be discouraged, because now everybody, it's just leveled the playing field when it comes to Suno and things of that nature. It really is scary, because it's like
how real it sounds, how like
yeah. So it's it's like the Incredibles syndrome treatment. The villain, he was just like, what? I'll sell my invention so that everybody can be super. And when everybody's super, no one will be.
Right.
Exactly. If you've seen The Incredibles, you know where he was going with that. But I'm, like I said, I'm doing my best to continue to work, continue to cook, and trust that people still love home cooked meals. So that's where I'm going.
And live performances too.
And
can't be replaced by no one's gathering around a speaker to be like,
you can't take these hips from me. You can't take this pelvis from me. You can't take.
I haven't seen any AI robot doing what you're doing.
I do take some consolation. My youngest son, who lives in Spain now, he loves, and he just went to a couple of Billy Strings concerts in Europe. He got heavily into electronic music, but he still has albums.
Yeah.
He went out and bought albums and a record player. That's what I call it. He calls it a stereo.
A record what?
Yeah.
What'd you say, dinosaur?
Yeah. He's like, listen, he prefers album. He listens to this show. He calls it the Snooze Man Weekly, which I take
Shout out.
great umbrage with, Zach, if you're listening to this. But he likes vinyl. He prefers vinyl over the electronic stuff that's out there today. And he was a percussionist back in the day himself, and then he got, went to college and got a job, and now he deals with computers every day. So
wow.
But so where can people see you coming up? I know you mentioned some stuff coming up in March and May, and what's 2026 look like for you in terms of performances?
Performances, well, I will be at Frank Medley's Wishes for Kids at LeaderCons this Saturday, I want to say, March the 7th.
Mm-hmm.
And it will be
next
following
week.
March
the next
7th.
week.
Yeah.
Who knows when someone's listening to this?
That's
right.
You got to throw out dates.
Hopefully
Exactly.
not too late. Yeah.
You're right. So I will be there, and for my 15 and 20 minute set at 5 o'clock if you want to see me perform. But seriously, come and see everybody. Everybody's gifted. So, but yeah, there's that. And there are a couple wineries that I will be performing at following, in the summer here and there. At first I wasn't going to do any, but, I realized that my career doesn't run on hopes and dreams, so I do need a little bit of change. So I will be doing a few side gigs here and there. You can catch me at South Street Grill or Wishmaker Winery here and there. So, but small gigs, but I will be dropping at least one music video per month. That's the goal.
In 2026, okay.
Yeah,
And
this year.
We will put links to Jody's Facebook page and other sites so you can keep track of Jody when he's out there this year.
Instagram, Snapbook.
Yes, I don't do that Instabook or Snapface stuff.
There he goes.
That's not what Mr. White does.
Yeah.
There's a lot you don't do.
All right,
Damn,
folks.
Skippy.
We're going to wrap up today's show on that note before I start getting PTSD from that show. Many thanks to the great Jody Odom for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here, my friend. Make sure you check out Jody performing live whenever and wherever you get the chance. It is a joy to behold and a joy to hear. So for now, thanks again to all of you for listening to the Newsman Weekly. I'll be back in a second to put a bow on this week's episode. But until then, remember what author Mark Twain once said: if you tell the truth, you don't have to remember anything.